Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Loayza. I'm the Dean of the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. I want to welcome you to SBS Insights, a series of conversations with faculty where we showcase unique research and work done on public service and social issues throughout the college. Today, we have a very, very special guest star, Dr. Chelsea Mead. Chelsea is an associate professor in the Anthropology Department and the American Indigenous Studies Program. She specializes in language revitalization and Indigenous education and serves as the coordinator for the Ojibwe language partnership with Bemidji State University. And she also collaborates with the College of Education here at MSU to expand future teachers' opportunities to learn Indigenous languages and to prepare to serve Indigenous students in their classrooms. So welcome, Dr. Mead, great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
So as we're navigating the pandemic, do you have any shows that you've either watched or looking forward to on Netflix or Apple TV or anything?
You know, there's been a lot of really good shows out, and I've enjoyed a number of different series that have been really popular. There is a show coming out I'm really excited about called Rutherford Falls. It has an all Indigenous writing cast and a number of Indigenous actors playing prominent roles in it, and I'm really excited about it. It's on Peacock, I think, the streaming service, so I'm pretty geeked to start watching that soon.
When you're not in your spare time, which I know is very scarce, I know just by working with you over the past couple of years that you keep extremely busy. And, for what we're going to be talking about today, I've been doing a lot of work recently with Indigenous education and, of course, the Ojibwe partnership with BSU. So you want to just give our audience a quick update of some of the things you're working on, maybe starting with the Bemidji partnership?
Sure, that'd be great. I'm really proud of our partnership. We started working on this about 4 or 5 years ago. Dr. Anton Troyer is a faculty member at Bemidji State University. He and I have known each other since I was a grad student, and he helped when I was studying Ojibwe as a college student back in the day. And so when I moved to Minnesota, I reached out to him, and we together were able to create this partnership that expanded the opportunities for students to learn Ojibwe, specifically for MNSU students. So being located close to the cities, we have a number of Ojibwe students on campus, and what we do is our students connect to the class up at Bemidji through ITV. And then through a number of grants that we have and opportunities, I will often take our students up to Bemidji to meet up with the other students. Sometimes we attend ceremony together or different community events. And it's really a unique opportunity for students. It's open to more than just our Native students. We have a number of non-Native students who are now in their second or third year of learning Ojibwe through this partnership. Some of them are in community health, some of them are in education. And what's so unique and special about this is learning Ojibwe is more than just learning nouns and verbs. It's Ojibwe humor, Ojibwe culture. We talk about a wide range of community topics and concerns and experiences in these classes. And so students who take it connect to the language, they connect to the culture, but they're immersed in so much more than just the grammar of a language. So, yeah.
One of the really, really cool things that I got to do, really one of the highlights of the spring semester was the storytelling event on Zoom that you both invited me to. So, maybe talk a little bit about that, because that was really a very uplifting and fascinating experience that really drew me in. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So one of the really unique things that we have with our collaboration is an elder in residence. And so the storytelling event was Dr. Anton Troyer from Bemidji, but also Dennis Jones, who's he's retired now. He was the Ojibwe language instructor at University of Minnesota. And he was our elder in residence for this semester. And so normally winter stories are told at community events in person in the evening, but with everyone being digital right now, we decided to do a digital event, and it had immense attendance. So we had over 800 people register. And at the event, Tony and Dennis, or Paybom, shared different winter stories. What's unique about winter stories is that these stories are usually told at night, and they're usually only told when there's snow on the ground, and that's for different cultural practices and protocol. So it was a really special event. And I remember it was so lovely to see, like, when they're telling these stories, it's not just the words, but also acting them out and visuals and engagement. And like I said, we had people attending it from Canada and Germany and all over the United States. And I think that just really reflects this extensive network of people interested in Indigenous languages, and specifically Ojibwe, and why it's so important that we have these classes and opportunities here at MNSU for all of our students and community members to partake in. So Paybom is an elder in residence. He's been great for the course this year.
Yeah, and over the past couple of years, I've learned a little bit more about it, but maybe for the audience, could you just talk about maybe a little bit about what an elder in residence is and how that benefits students that are in the program? Because that strikes me kind of along with the storytelling is something really unique that you've been able to come up with to offer students.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. We actually have 2 elder in residence programs happening this year. So Dennis Jones, or Paybom, is involved with the Ojibwe elder in residence. And so what he's been able to do, because we're digital right now, he's attended our classes periodically and provided additional language instruction, cultural instruction and engagement. And then once we're able to reconvene in person, he'll travel with us to Ojibwe language conferences and different opportunities. And so his being an elder in residence, even digitally, is about forming connections with our students, about increasing the opportunity for students to interact with elders from their communities and to have other Indigenous representatives in these positions within the institution. So knowing that Paybom was a professor for years, it's important for our students to see and interact with Native elders from the community and also Native academics to see themselves represented in our institutions. And then through my partnership with the College of Ed, we had a Dakota elder in residence as well. And we did several visiting sessions with them where we just came together on Zoom and had lunch together. And visiting is building those connections, laughing, sharing stories, connecting. And so it's all about increasing opportunities for all of our students to engage with elders from the communities that we live amongst.
You know, that's been a really cool part of the Ojibwe partnership, and be able to have a chance to work with you on the Bemidji State partnership. The collaboration with the College of Education through the GEAR grant that you just mentioned, that's a relatively new opportunity, similar in the opportunities that it provides in education. So I think that, yeah, that would be great for the audience to hear just about what that's all about and how you see that moving forward.
Yeah, so there are not enough Native teachers coming from communities of color or underrepresented communities. And the GEAR grant was the Governor's Educational Emergency Relief Fund. And so myself and a group of College of Ed faculty applied for and received that grant. And the elements in it that I'm particularly excited about are scholarships and emergency grants for underserved students who are pursuing a degree in education. But then there's also funding for any teacher ed person who wants to take Ojibwe or Dakota language, because one of the goals of the grant and one of the goals of my research and my areas of impact is increasing teacher preparation. So I would like to see all of our teachers who come through our program have some exposure to Native American history, Native American culture, and language. Language is one of the quickest ways to start learning culture and connect to communities. So I've been developing new courses. I have a teachers institute, and then all the support for the language classes is with the hope of supporting our Indigenous students, but also helping address the equity gap that exists in education right now in schools for our Indigenous students and students of color, to have teachers who are either from their communities, so increasing the amount of teachers that come from these communities, or preparing non-native students who want to go into education to be able to work well with different student communities, particularly our Indigenous students. So that's some of the work that I've been doing with the College of Ed, is increasing teacher preparation with a Native lens and Native focus, and encouraging more teachers to, or students wanting to be teachers, to think about how Indigenous languages can be beneficial for them. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone's read a textbook somewhere and went, how do I pronounce that? How do we say Ojibwe, or how do we say Cheyenne? And so these opportunities help prepare them to actually teach the content appropriately.
Yeah, that's great. That's super exciting. And I think, as you know, it took a lot of work, primarily on your part and that of your colleagues, to make sure that the paperwork and all the signatures were done just to get that in motion. So seriously, thank you so much for getting that opportunity, for our current students and our prospective ones in the future. Like you said, getting more Indigenous teachers that have the pedagogical tools to, teach what they know to future students is really important. The language instruction that you're doing is part of that too. So is there any one particular story that comes to mind as far as kind of thinking about how those experiences impact students in a positive way, and just what they're getting out of it? Because I know they're getting a lot, but you've heard those stories closer than I have.
I think one of the most valuable elements that comes out of both the Indigenous education classes that I teach and also the Ojibwe language classes is the opportunity to really engage in experiences together. So in the Ojibwe language class, we did a 2-day trip. We went up to White Earth and attended drum ceremony together. And this, for many of our students, both Native and non-Native, this was the first time they'd actually been to that particular reservation community, that they'd ever attended ceremony. And it was just a really powerful experience to be able to attend that event, to participate, to engage with community members, and to share in that overall experience. And similarly, with the Indigenous education class, I take our students to the local Wachipi, the local powwow in the fall, and take them out into the powwow ring, and we dance in an intertribal together. And these classes are more than just learning about a culture or a group of people. I think that's probably one of the biggest defining differences, is you can read books about other cultures. It's not the same as interacting with people. You miss out on the humor and the sense of community and that cultural understanding when you're missing these experiences. So I'm just happy I'm able to help support these experiences for all of our MNSU students if they want to take advantage of these opportunities.
Right. And I think once you do have some of those experiences, then when you go back and you read or you discuss, say, Indigenous issues with others, you feel more connected to it, and just it's a whole different experience just moving forward once you've had that experiential learning.
And it makes a really big difference if you're a teacher or a social worker or whatever major you're going into. You are always going to be on Indigenous land. No matter where you go, you are in someone's Indigenous homelands. And so having that extra layer and awareness can help you no matter where you go when you interact and work with Native peoples. Because if you're in a big city, you're going to interact with Native peoples. If you're out in a rural area, you're still on Native lands. You still have Native peoples there. And I've seen students from a variety of majors leave these classes and opportunities with more skills in their toolbox and more increased comfort, I guess I would say, with at least having a basic foundational level that they can use to build and bridge relationships as they go out into their careers, whether it's, construction management. You're going to possibly be working with Indigenous communities, depending on where you're working at. It's applicable to everybody. And I think that's one of the benefits and what's so positive about these classes and opportunities.
Yeah, that's terrific. Definitely look forward to learning more about that in the future. And hopefully we can do a sequel talk somewhere beyond the Zoom confines that we've got here. So thank you so much for joining us, Chelsea, sharing your research and your experiences with us today. And really, really excited about all of this great work that you're doing. For prospective students or colleagues out there that have an interest in learning more about the American Indigenous Studies in Ojibwe, please visit our website at sbs.mnsu.edu/AIS. And for more information on our faculty research series and other episodes in SBS Insights, you can visit sbs.mnsu.edu/insights. So thanks very much and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.